definitely want to get as many points as they possibly can, because this is the last chance. This is the time to do it. There's no more chances after this. After this, we're going straight to circuit.
And the top 8 teams too that do make it, that is the the roster that they signed up for this cup. That's the one that they're stuck with throughout the circuit. So a lot of choices did get made heading into this cup. So I just can't wait to see where we do end up. It's interesting also, we've got that new team as well that we're going to be seeing. Anything possible. It's Lasers, Cvab, and Athena. So I'm excited to see how those guys do as well. But interesting bracket, obviously there's teams that are very solidly in the top 8 that we're not going to see budge quite at all, but you can bet that the teams that are right on the cusp are going to be feeling that pressure. But Sid, let's talk about the first game that we have coming up. No Money Just Funny versus Bugs. We saw Bugs play the first game of the day last weekend as well, but how are these two teams doing in your mind?
I mean, they both have solid meta composition picks. For me, it's kind of building synergy, getting games under their belt for both of these rosters, because they've got things like the Rogue Mage, the Windwalker Mage, a couple of Spellcaster Cleaves, even Jamie coming on in Enhanced Shaman for Turbo when it's situationally good for them. These are teams that could rise to the challenge if they're able to get in the hours. And they've really proven themselves last week. Like, they had a really deep run between the two of them, and I think they faced off. I'm trying to remember if Bugs used Windwalker Mage or actually mirrored them. I think they did use Windwalker Mage into their Rogue Mage specifically, and they were able to beat them, which we weren't expecting. We were thinking Rogue Mage is favored, so maybe things have changed now with another week of practice under their belt. No Money Just Funny might strike back. If they knock Bugs out, then they get a bit higher seed. I think the bigger deal is to just be placing high in this tournament to get the prize money, because if you're top 8, I believe Circuit is round robin, so I'm not sure if your seeding is going to be too important. I think in terms of qualifications, it's the series after this that has the most impact in Europe, because right now Spawn of Damage, that was Big Mix's team we saw in the first cup, they haven't really been having a good run since then, and their spot for qualifying is kind of under contention to the team Delirium and possibly Anything Possible. Like, if Anything Possible has a run, I don't know how deep they'd have to make it. They'd have to make it further than Spawn of Damage did in the first cup. They could take their spot. So right now it's the 8th place position that is kind of like the hot button position to grab, and there's basically 3 teams that are in contestant for it right now, and one of them, Spawn of Damage, isn't going to have a say in it. So they're basically kind of praying that Anything Possible beats Delirium, and then Anything Possible loses, I think, right off that, if they want to keep that 8th place position.
A lot of complicated math involved in that things could certainly swap around completely by the end of the day. So we'll be keeping an eye on that 8th position. But in the meantime, let's get this elimination round started. It's Bugs versus No Money Just Funny, game number 1.
And we are going to see that Windwalker Fire Mage Holy Priest going up against the RMP. And the last time these two teams met, it did seem like the main effort for No Money Just Funny was doing these clean setups on Brunhilde, but they were getting denied this time. Looks clean though. Big kidney shot on Brunhilde. Getting aggressive very early on. Acro's going to be playing that assassination specialization, so every one of those kidney shots going to be devastating. But the one thing we saw from Bugs last week was their ability to defend Brunhilde. I think that's what we're going to be looking for. Oscar with good Dragon's Breath, with good Quaking Palms from that Pandaren racial. If they can keep Brunhilde alive, their pressure will eventually overwhelm in this matchup.
Ooh, Oscar didn't get the Dragon's Breath sheep, but look at Brunhilde taking huge damage here. So far, that Battlemaster was used there by Brunhilde, but no trinkets used, no panic here just yet on the side of Bugs, and now counterattack coming in. The leg sweep onto Acro, but don't really have to trade anything. And I'm really surprised Brunhilde was able to survive that Vendetta with just 4th brew. But now another kidney shot. Smoke bomb gets dropped. Next got a big heal right before that smoke bomb. So I think Brunhilde is actually going to sit through that one without using his trinket. So even with the smoke bomb, No Money Just Funny, not able to find that trinket, which they're desperately trying to get from Brunhilde. But now just trinketed right there. Not sure. That was was a little bit weird, but yeah, Brunhilde is not in a great. He's not in a great spot after that trinket. That's for sure.
Combustion is up, Vendetta is up. Brunhilde has no trinket. I don't even know if Guardian Spirit will be enough. They might just kill him through it if Acro connects here. He's going for the massive damage with the Vendetta, but he didn't land a kidney shot, it looks like. Acro's just dismantled. He has no weapon. He can't attack Brunhilde. Brunhilde's running away. I mean, this is the game right now. They can connect at all onto him with a kidney shot here. You should just down in the dirt, and they just can't connect it. Acro is crowd controlled by Oscar in a Frost Nova at the moment. Brunhitty's now getting aggressive towards Tittery, blasting him down to half. Grip onto the kidney shot here, but they haven't launched the combustion and there's no Vendetta, so Brunhitty survives another kidney shot scot-free. Now stunning up Acro and blasting him, getting Acro's medallion, keeping his team in the game. Kind of feels like No Money. It's funny, dropping the ball there. That last setup really lacked a punch. They're going to need to connect this combustion from Tittery if they want to maintain their momentum.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Let's see if they can do it. They're going to be moving forward right now. Big kidney shot on Brunhitty. This is the Vendetta. Massive damage. Can they just crush him through? Next gets counterspell. Then he gets dropping portals with the defuse. He gets the Transcendence off behind the pillar. That was a really scary moment, but they weathered the storm. Actually was not the Vendetta from Acro, so he still has that available as well as a full blind. So still scary moments to come for Bugs. There's no defensive cooldowns for another 20 seconds from Brunhitty, so we'll see how they balance offense and defense. Brunhitty wants to continue to push forward, get that Windwalker damage out, but here's the Vendetta. Big damage on Brunhitty once again. Next has to shrink it out, but does he have the healing to actually keep him alive? Brunhitty on the run, throwing a detox on himself, getting behind the pillar, but Acro in hot pursuit, disarmed. Brunhitty goes over to Tittery, gets some pressure out. Now it's up to Oscar. Can he get the crowd control here onto JJ? If he can, Acro could be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, and here we go. Full stun onto Acro. Here comes the damage. JJ's in a polymorph. Oscar gets stopped there on the re, though. Nice Dragon's Breath there by Tittery. And he will get gripped back to the pillar. JJ is going to be able to keep him alive. Acro actually looking for the re-stealth here. So that was a really nice play, though, by Oscar. He landed a counterspell onto JJ. And he forced out Acro's cloak there by himself. So maybe him down. Pull the blind onto next. Brunhitty doing a great job here, pre-kiting, just avoiding Acro before he can even get a chance to press that Shadow Step kidney shot. This is really nice preemptive kiting right now from Brunhitty, and then he's going to send a disarm onto Acro right there when he knows that he's going out in open field again. So Brunhitty with excellent defense as usual, but now the kidney shot will connect. But since Next is no longer in crowd control from that blind, he'll be able to just survive that CC chain there. So really nice defense there from Bugs once again. And we saw these matches go on for quite some time last time around. Down onto Acro. He did use that 3 Aegis Trinket though, so he won't die on that one. Trinkets vanish. Look at the Figaro, cheap shot. And he's got the Sepsis as well into the kidney shot. This is big damage onto Brunhitty. He's going to Trinket out. Use the Touch of Karma. They bust through it. They're looking for Next there on the backside, trying to get something going, but they're turning around onto Acro. Oscar gets denied on the resheath. And Brunhitty, though, is there with the double stun, but he's taking too much damage. Has to run away and just try to survive here with the diffuse magic. Unfortunately for him, Next is just permanently in crowd control right there. They could have maybe gotten the kill otherwise. Next still in CC. Okay, now Brunhitty, that might just be the game. And they will be able to take the Monk down there. Nice offense there coming out from No Money Just Funny. And unfortunately for Bugs, they had a really nice opportunity there to get aggressive onto Acro, but Brunhitty just didn't feel safe enough. It was a bit of a race there, and Bugs ended up losing it.
They did a really good job just keeping their momentum in that game. Like Brunhitty never really got room to breathe. It was always a threat, rotating between their combustion. I like that they were splitting their combustion and splitting their Vendetta, so that there was more kidney shots that could threaten lethal damage. Like here we see combustion rolling through onto Brunhitty, but not Vendetta. And then the next kidney shot, they're going to use Vendetta. Then the next kidney shot, they try and reduce their Vendetta, or reduce their combustion. So there's always a big damage cooldown available for No Money Just Funny every time they have a stun, which means Brunhitty can never get comfortable and be like, oh, I trinket and traded on Vendetta and bust, so there's no threat now, I can run all over them. They didn't do that right here. We see the kidney shot Vendetta. That forces Brunhitty to run away. If he doesn't, he's going to die to Vendetta. Tittery's working down that combustion cooldown to try and get that available for the next stun. They try and get this opening here to go after Acro, but Brunhitty is still just dying to the Vendetta. He thought that he could push through with his defensives he had at the time and get aggressive, but No Money Just Funny. Their damage is way higher. Their offense is much more coordinated than last week. They're not allowing Brunhitty to slip through the cracks, not giving him any opportunities or breathing room throughout that first game. And if that continues to be the case, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to rely on their Windwalker Mage to win this series.
Yeah, I think such a huge part of why they were able to win last week is Brunhitty was just every single kidney shot got denied from Acro. It was just a Dragon's Breath, a Polymorph, a Chastise Stun, a Fear. And I really feel like if we see No Money Just Funny do these kind of cross crowd controls and land these stuns consistently on Brunhitty with their offensive cooldowns kind of split up like you mentioned, it's going to be really difficult for the Monk to survive. Windwalker Monks do insane damage. They're really strong in terms of offense. as well as defense if they can move their character. The one thing that's really difficult for them is kidney shot, the long extended stun. That's when they're most vulnerable, and I think that's what Acro's really trying to exploit in this game.
Yeah, they landed a lot of kidneys, but that's the thing. It seems so hard to be the monk in this setup. You have so much offense, but you can't really use it a lot of the time because you're just busy running. I think for Oscar, it's kind of his job to be like the goalie. He did a really good job with it last week, so I think that's what he needs to try to do. Just focus a lot on shutting down the rogue, making sure that the rogue doesn't get any uptime whatsoever, and then try to counterattack. But it's tough for him.
Yeah, we'll see if they make any adjustments. I mean, they do have other compositions, but do they have any other compositions that are good against Rogue Mage? that really, I mean, that's the question for all these teams, right? Figure out Rogue Mage. Last week they had a solid answer, but I think if No Money Just Funny adapts like we see here, it's going to be a really rough matchup. I'm trying to even think what Bugs could really do too much better, because it does seem like when these two comps go head-to-head with the best teams, and I think both teams are playing on like an equal level, I feel like the Rogue still has a bit of an advantage, but we'll see. We've seen both sides win throughout all of these cups.
I think it's just experience. Like No Money Just Funny, it's obvious they have more experience now from last week, because Brunhilde isn't getting away. He's not getting those opportunities. He's barely allowed to stay alive, let alone to get aggressive in the matchup, whereas last week it felt like they were getting a lot more opportunities. Could just be a first game thing. Maybe we see Bugs turn it around here on Hook Point, picking a really small map, try to get after Acro a little bit sooner. But when they were winning, they had to get like into deep dampening, and they were swapping Tittery, I think, in a lot of their games. So I think they're going to have to survive this new cooldown cycle a very long time, which can be super difficult, because if you make one mistake in the cycle, the game is over. Sometimes even if you don't make a mistake, you might just get blasted out by a big crit. So the Vendetta, Sepsis, and the Combustion being such a low cooldown now, with new set bonuses, with new covenants that they're picking up, really challenging to be able to best a composition like Rogue Mage. And we already see triple crowd control, Brunhilde immediately retreating behind the pillar. But this time they actually overlap. They use Vendetta and Combustion. I'm not sure if they were just going for an all-in to see if Brunhilde would under-respond there. But he does get to just trade Diffuse for both cooldowns, and this could give him an opportunity now to get aggressive, because both those major threats are out of the way, and he's taking advantage of that by running after Acro, swapping to Tittery on the Ray of Hope, trying to blast him down. And a massive Rising Sun kick onto him there. They're going to grip Brunhilde behind the pillar, fear Acro on the kidney shot, try and stall for the stun lock so Brunhilde can reconnect here. But they've already got Guardian Spirit, and Guardian Spirit outside of a cycle. Look at that Vendetta. It's already off cooldown for Acro here. Next getting counterspelled. Oscar into Polymorph. They have control at the moment. They can turn it around at any time here. Knocking Tittery behind the pillar. Tittery going to blink through the Ring of Peace. We're hitting up Polymorph, trying to get control of the Windwalker before they go for the stun lock. Here's the Paralyzed. No leg sweep, though, to set it up. Acro's actually going after Oscar, it looks like, right now. A little bit odd. Mind control over onto Brunhilde. Acro can't connect in a Ring of Frost. Shadow steps over to Oscar. I don't know if this is the right decision to go after the Mage here. He tossed Vendetta on Oscar, and Oscar's just hiding him with the Soul Shape at the moment. Both teams opting, actually, to go after each other's mages. So a bit of an odd mid-game adaptation here. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely. Tittery right now getting absolutely blasted, getting incredibly low. Nice alter time there. But Brunhilde's still all over him with his images. He actually catches him on fire. Cauterized procs. Tittery could be in trouble. This could be the ice block as well. Can they actually get it? Blinking away. Gigi's going to be healing him up. A lot of incoming heals. I think Tittery's going to be okay. At the same time, Oscar still has Cauterized, still has ice block. So I would say right now, Bugs is slightly ahead in the Mage race. Oscar and the kidney shot, though. This is where they could turn that around. Get that Cauterized. See if they can do it. Doesn't look like they will be able to. Oscar stabilizes. Beautiful Ring of Peace by Brunhilde. And like you said, this is kind of a weird adaptation. In the past, you would expect the Rogue and the Windwalker to be main targets, but it seems like both teams have just completely switched on the fly. And we're just going to be going for a bit of a Mage race here.
Bit of a gentleman's agreement here to just go after the mages. And I would say, ooh, smoke bomb here onto Oscar. Big damage coming out potentially. Next is there. Trying to deflect. He gets blinded. Wants to sit through it, but he's forced to use his trinket there. So next could be a target now for No Money Just Funny. We've seen a lot of these Holy Priests get taken down in a kidney shot, but that would be probably in about a minute from now. And like you guys mentioned, I would say Tittery is the one on the back foot here. Here comes the Dust Brew. And Tittery might just get dusted right now. Just be careful. Nice altered time there by Tittery. Dragon's Breath, the images as well. Trying to survive there in the back line Oscar taking some damage in that kidney shot. Double Dragon's Breath coming out. Next still in a polymorph. Oscar doing his job here, trying to kite. It's a nice DR ring there. They have a leg sweep there onto Acro and JJ. Damage coming in onto Tittery, but he's going to be blinking back, getting that big blazing soul shield, and he gets caught up in the stun. Has to use the ice block, gets master spelled out of it. And this mage race is not going well for No Money Just Funny. The question is, why aren't you just going after the Windwalker? It worked so well in game number 1, but now finally some pressure onto Oscar. Can they get him on fire though? That is the question. He's so low. He will proc the Cauterize, and he will use the ice block. They master spell it as well. So now finally, No Money Just Funny getting 1 point back there on the board. Equal now in the mage race.
All right, let's see if they can completely even it out here and close out the series. They're way ahead on mana. They have Combustion on their side, whereas Oscar doesn't. Massive damage. They grip Oscar behind the pillar. Grapple weapon onto Acro. Frost Nova blink away by Oscar as he's getting on top of Tittery. Trying to go for the win here. Blinking to Polymorph. Not going to find it. Shut down by both Acro and Tittery here. Oscar now just trying to build up damage, but Combustion is just waiting in the wings. Vendetta is waiting in the wings. There's no defense for Oscar here. There's basically no mana on the side of Bugs. I think that No Money Just Funny can take it here if it's not stolen away by Brunhilde. Brunhilde going for the double leg sweep, but it looks like Tittery blinks away from the spinning crane kick, and here comes Combustion. Here comes Vendetta. Massive damage. Oscar Ultra Time's back, but Acro is chasing after him in that soul shape, trying to catch up to him. He's just melting to the dots right now. JJ into a Ring of Frost, fakes out the Shadow of Death, goes for the polymorph, gets chastised on it. He's still flailing to stay alive, down at 10%. I think they're gonna proc the pod here. They do proc the pod. Can they take the pod out? Next trinkets out and fears Acro away from the pod. It looks like Tittery will be able to drop it. And despite No Money Just Funny looking like they were behind, turn it around in the final moments. Now
Yeah, this is looking like a totally different team than what we saw last week. The pressure's just a lot higher. The setups are a lot better as well. No Money Just Funny playing this Assassination RMP quite beautifully. And I kind of wonder if Bugs is going to have to make a change. They do have Jamie, so Jamie could come in potentially on the Shaman. Maybe we see some Mage Shaman. Not sure if that's a good matchup, but we'll have to wait and see. The Mage race ended up working out. It seemed like a little bit better here for No Money Just Funny. They were able to pull away the victory. Oscar just being caught continually in these kidney shots. And I think a part of this comes down to Oscar just not playing Blazing Soul, I do believe. So he's not actually going to have...
He's shimmered right there.
Yeah, he's not going to have access to just blinking out of stuns, which I think on the small map is really difficult. And I think that's why No Money Just Funny. They're like, okay, well, Oscar's not going to play the really tanky talent, and he wants to go for more crowd control. We're going to punish that in a big way. And these consistent kidney shots on the Panda Mage, at least go Orc if you're going to play Shimmer. Maybe he was trying to like keep it a secret or something like that, but those stuns are just brutal to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Oscar wasn't playing the tank mage, and Tittery was. So despite Tittery getting kind of blown up early on, he's able to survive. He's able to just keep blinking out with those leg sweeps, keep himself alive with those big shields every time he blinks as well.
Look at healing.
Whereas Oscar just can't do anything. He just gets kidneyed, and that's that. He has to get gripped or he has to trinket, and that's really it. Healing, you said?
Yeah, more even than
next
I...
did
A little bit.
fixed it a lot.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking at the mage's healing. Like how much extra healing the Blazing Soul does provide in this matchup. But yeah, just not being able to free yourself from the stuns are brutal. So I feel like it's a good punish, right? Because on the one hand, as the mage, if you have Shimmer, it's going to be a lot easier for you to land like a Dragon's Rush Sheep or like a Polymorph Shimmer, for example. With the Blazing Soul, it's a little bit more difficult. You're actually on global, so it's not as quick, it's not as easy. Players can react a little bit easier. So it's one of those things where Bugs, they're trying to like get that little bit of greed. If you're going to go after Brunhilde, I'm going to crowd control a bit easier, but I like the adaptation from No Money Just Funny. They're going to punish that. And now I suspect if Oscar goes back to playing the Blink Stun, that they're just going to go after Brunhilde again, because Oscar is not going to be nearly as big a threat.
Just keeping them controlled. Containing them basically. If they see somebody trying to sneak out, just instantly pushing them back. Like, nope, we saw what you did there. We're not gonna let that be a threat to our team. So I mean, that's good awareness by No Money Just Funny to pick up on that kind of small nuanced change for mages in this patch, because mages have been playing Shimmer for a very long time, and that new trinket, the Echoing Resolve, is really enabling this Blink Stun now as well, because you can just go immune to crowd control outside of it, have the safety of blinking the stun, and also the benefit of getting a big shield when you do it. So you're just immune to CC basically the whole game. as a mage with that build, but the trade is that you're going to have a harder time sheeping a healer, especially a priest. With Shadow of Death and with Holy Ward and with Greater Fate, it can be actually really challenging to sheep, not have Shimmer. So Oscar has to make a tough decision. Shimmer to land sheeps or Blink Stun so I don't die. But if I run Blink Stun, then my monk is just going to die and I can't sheep. So it's a really bad position to be in as the Bugs with their roster. Whereas No Money Just Funny, it seems like they don't really even need Shimmer sheeps. Like a Combustion Kidney or a Vendetta Kidney with just a Blind or a Chastise from the Priest is like usually more than enough to kill a target, so they can just play defensive mage. Maybe Bugs should have actually just stayed on Acro, even though they were going after Oscar, simply because Tittery was playing Blink Stun. None of those leg sweeps were sitting. Maybe if they change that, the game looks different. But we'll have to wait and see here. It's Blackrock Hold. It's a good map for the monk to survive, so maybe they do run Blink Stun and then use the map here to help Brunhilde. But reverse sweeping the series on RMP map picks, I feel like it's going to be tough. Like No Money Just Funny are looking like a solid RMP this week. Like they came together, like they just signed up. I don't know how much practice. I feel like I've seen their names together in the past, but I don't know recently how many games they've been getting on the Rogue Mage, because last week it looked a little bit rusty, but this week they're looking clean. They could be a big threat, having another RMP in the European region.
Absolutely. I think actually what I want to see is exactly what you said. I want to see Oscar keep playing the Shimmer, but just go after Acro. Just don't make it a mage race, and just protect Oscar more. I think that could be good, because when you're playing that Shimmer, the only thing that's like really threatening is actually the other rogue, not so much the enemy mage, because you can just alter time the combust or spell steal it and cancel it, or blink out of line. Or there's a lot of ways to avoid it. You're only really scared when the mage is in the kidney shot. So I think the way they play when No Money Just Funny is going after the Windwalker, they need to play that way when No Money Just Funny is going after Oscar, because the Windwalker, he can do a lot to protect the mage. Beast, arms, rooting constantly the rogue and things like that can be really, really annoying to deal with. So I want to see that, but Oscar probably just gonna go. He's echoing Resolve. He's definitely playing Blink Stun again. So let's see if it works out for them. They have won like this before. Last week, Bugs was the team that took the dub. This week, though, it looks like No Money Just Funny is the stronger team. Let's see if they can do 3 in a row.
Okay. It's looking like they will be able to. They're going after Brunhilde, so they've recognized that echoing Resolve that Oscar has Blink Stun, so they're going to go after the Windwalker Monk instead, get maximum values out of their kidney shot, and they don't have to worry about JJ getting Blink Polymorphed here. You can see Tittery retreating back into the room, Brunhilde keeping them back here, cutting through that Alter Time. Now they got the Ray of Hope. I feel like a lot of players, when they see Ray of Hope, they stop damage, but I actually swear that you can race Ray of Hope and make it negative more often than not. I would rather see them maybe just push through that cooldown, but here comes a smoke bomb. Big power play on match point. Is Brunhilde going to fall here in the final moments? Fuse, Trinket from next. Big cooldowns. They still have a full blind. They might just kill him through everything. Brunhilde portals back to the pillar. JJ's right on top of him. Chastises to reconnect. Acro gets paralyzed. Brunhilde on the run, but Holy Priest damage is nothing to scoff at. JJ is doing a lot of damage to Brunhilde right now while he's avoiding the Rogue and Mage. They're going to stun up Acro, trying to turn it around. Tittery intervene to the Dragon's Breath. Frost Nova on Brunhilde. Another kidney shot onto Brunhilde. Going to defensively Dragon's Breath Tittery. Sheep off their Echoing Resolve. Counterspell on the follow-up. Not going to find a sheep. Brunhilde's desperate. He's going after Tittery, trying to blast him. Tittery gets pulled back to the pillar. Brunhilde swaps back to Acro. Acro going to feign all that Fist of Fury damage. Ages the incoming damage as well. Brunhilde needs to retreat away from that. Reposition his portal. Get ready for the next attack. Get a Fleshcraft up preemptively for their push. Good defensive posture by Brunhilde, recognizing to not overextend. Double leg sweep, getting good value there, but not able to connect damage, unfortunately. And it seems like they are maybe getting baited into going after Tittery a little bit too early. Prior to dampening, killing the mage is going to be very difficult for them with how much healing they've been doing in these matchups. They're trying their best, though, to take out Tittery. There's that Ray of Hope on Tittery. I want to see them just attack into it, turn it into a negative ray rather than switching targets. They get a counter spell. Look at the pressure there. They made it negative, and they got an ice block off Tittery, a cloak off of Acro. It was a really high value push from the Bugs. They can definitely still do this.
No doubt about it. They're gonna have to do it 3 times in a row until they get this one. Brunhilde with a Fist of Fury right now. That was a great push there, and we'll see. I mean, Acro still has a big opportunity here. Big kidney shot, but it gets Quaking Palm. And this is the kind of defense you want to see from Oscar. Brunhilde able to portal away. He actually uses his Trinket. So Trinket and Diffuse are now out of the way, and I feel like that's a big victory. That was a combustion from Tittery, but Acro has got that Vendetta coming up. And I feel like this could be a really scary moment here. Luckily, Next is going to be rotating back up. Oscar has been doing a great job this game, trying to defend Brunhilde as much as possible. Big leg sweep now on Acro. He does have his trinket. But yeah, Oscar's been doing a great job defending Brunhilde. He's going to have to do a really good job in this next setup because Brunhilde has essentially nothing. Here's the kidney shot. Here's the Vendetta. Insane damage. Next is forced to trade out the trinket, but he gets polymorphed on his trinket. Looks like Brunhilde could fall. Vivify's coming in. Dragon's Breath from Oscar once again. Brunhilde does not want to run out of line of sight, but he catches a huge heal. What a close call that was. Brunhilde down to 10% health. And now Bugs is reversing the pressure here onto Tittery. No ice block. He does have the cauterize, but this is looking really scary for No Money Just Funny.
Oh, Acro needs to be very, very careful here. AJ still in crowd control. Can they get a resheep? They get a Dragon's Breath, and Tittery is on fire. Acro is in touch of death range here. He gets a kidney shot onto Brunhilde. He could just maybe come out of here and reverse it back on there. A nice victory there. Now Tittery has no cooldowns left, but neither does Brunhilde. Just ice onto Next. Brunhilde is on the run. Flashcraft gets channeled. They get a full fear, and they connect onto Brunhilde. Doesn't look like Acro is able to just yet. And now nice double leg sweep here. Here's the butt. Here's the dust coming out, and big damage from Brunhilde with the Fury, but doesn't look like he will
Combustion
be
Vendetta
too much there on the side of Acro. And here comes the Sepsis. Here comes the Vendetta. There's the smoke bomb. Do you have anything more though onto Acro? He gets a touch of karma. They're gonna just bust through that immediately. Next with big heals though in the back line is able to keep Brunhilde alive right there. And it looks like through that crazy series of events, maybe not. Tittery's still in a lot of danger. Uses the ult at time. Should be fine now. It looks like both teams have somewhat stabilized after that crazy push. And I wonder what happened to Next Trinket actually after that blind. He got sheeped on it, but I think it broke maybe. And that, as a result, Brunhilde is still in the game here. For how long is the question? He has to use his trinket once again as soon as it comes back up, basically, with that Gladiator's emblem. And of course, with the diffuse magic. Catches a couple of big heals, counterspell onto Next. Brunhilde trying to kite, trying to move around, trying to parry fist here from Acro. Next still in crowd control. Brunhilde just needs to run, and constantly run. It looks like
okay, this game sucks.
Full blind Vendetta. This is a nightmare situation.
I don't think he's making it out alive here. He pre-fort bruised this kidney, but now after that, there's basically nothing. They'll probably have bust for it. They're just sending Vendetta. They don't even care. They're just sheeping the Vendetta. What is going on? This seems really miscommunicated by No Money Just Funny. But they're going for the blind. They can't connect. Brunhilde's on the run. They're kind of throwing away the game there. Just fully polymorphed the Vendetta because they suddenly had to turn around on them. And now Brunhilde manages to escape. They lost the Vendetta. They lost the blind. They need to win right here with a few seconds left on this crowd control. Can they, though? Brunhilde is stunned up. Can they close it out here on match point? Yes.
Whoa!
They managed to slip it through right at the last second. 3-0. No Money Just Funny advance in the lower bracket.
I mean, I guess they got the win. That was a really kind of scary situation for them, though. It seemed like they had like a perfect checkmate situation, full blind on the healer, kidney shot with Vendetta, but a weird miscommunication that we'll see in the replay. Regardless, No Money Just Funny. They get it done. Follow-up kidney shot, 3-0ing a team that actually beat them last week. So really showing up here in the lower bracket. Unfortunately for Bugs, they will be eliminated, but No Money Just Funny. They're going to be able to press on and try to make a deep run.
Yeah, so I want to know what happened to Next Trinket before this one. He triggered the blind, and then he got sheeped on his trinket. I want to know if he actually deafed that sheep, because he got sheep shotted as well. I think Acro might have actually broken it with that sheep shot. Or maybe he just deafed it and then sheep shotted to cover for the death. Either way, this is the situation that Ben is talking about. They got full blind, they got Vendetta kidney, but they don't actually get the blind there onto Next. And Acro gets counterstunned, takes a decent chunk of damage there, and then they polymorph Brunhilde because Acro is just dying during the push. And then with a couple of seconds left on the trigger, they pull the trigger, but Brunhilde no longer on stun DR. And of course, Oscar doing a great job here just peeling. And then with 3 seconds left on that Ring of Frost, they get a fear. And that's when Brunhilde, at this point, Brunhilde feels safe to go in and get aggressive. Shadow Step Kidney comes out. Here, with a couple of seconds left on it, and then that I believe it's actually the Night Phase slow that gets them the kill right there.
I'm never picking up an orb again. You actually can't play the game. You can't use your heal, you can't use your Feign Death, and you can't turtle.
Or Soulbind, sorry.
The
it actually
fuck?
slows him when he comes out of CC, and it's a 90% slow for like 2 seconds. So unfortunately for Next, he can't make it back to his target, and Brunhilde just gets blasted down by that combustion.
it's one of the awkward moments where you start thinking you're safe. Like you think the rogue mage attempt is over, so it's like I'm gonna run in there and help out. It looks like they're going after Oscar. I just got stunned. I reset. I'm in a good spot. Instantly dead. The last second on the CC, you're just looking at it like this isn't a scenario I die, and he's just coming out. Oh. Like if Brunhilde just waited in the room even 2 seconds longer, he'd be alive right now. And that's how tight it is against Rogue Mage in terms of how decisive you need to be when you're in and when you're out. So we'll knock them out of the tournament. We'll see them again in the circuit. But no money, just funny could be a real shark in this lower bracket.
Yeah, I think they will for sure, and they're going to have a long ways to go, of course, before they can, hope to make it back up to the grand finals. They've been in the lower bracket for a couple games now, so we'll see what they can do as they move on. But yeah, like you guys said, Bugs is out, and we are going to be moving on, of course, to another elimination round before we head up to that upper bracket games. It's 2 teams that we haven't seen yet this season, at least. Anything Possible versus Delirium. And I have no idea what these 2 teams are going to play, what they're going to bring out in that blind pick, but we will see very shortly. We're going to head to a break, and when we come back, we're going to find out soon enough. It's Anything Possible versus Delirium coming up next. Bugs, money is funny as we continue on here in the lower bracket. Now we've got another elimination round. It's Anything Possible versus Delirium. Anything Possible, I know that this team they've been competing in the offline brackets for quite some time. They haven't quite made it into the top 8 just yet. We do know that Laser played with Trent's team a little bit in Cup number 2 last season, but we haven't really seen much of them in a tournament setting. So Zico, do you know at all what we're going to be seeing here, what we can expect from either of these guys?
Boomkin, Demon Hunter, and the rest of Shaman. The boys. In
Finally.
anything possible.
I haven't seen it.
We're finally gonna see
Finally.
it. Yeah.
I've been waiting
You
so
sound
long
so bitter.
for a team to
was-
get this comp. Like, I want to see a Boomkin. It's Laser Chicken. It's Econ Champion Boomkin. Like, and they're playing the comp that I think is like one of the best Boomkin comps. So I'm excited to see if they can make a run with it. We've been seeing nothing but mages like for a while now in the cup, so I'm excited to see Boomkin getting a chance here. But they're gonna fight a cleave.
Boomy
Cleave
DH.
can be really rough. Ret Warrior can just train your shaman a lot of the time, and I think that's what they're gonna do here. And as a restoration shaman, staying alive against Ret Warrior, this is one of the hardest things you can do in the game. And they're immediately all over him. Hammer of Justice is down. Oh my God! I told you, it's the scariest thing in the game is the restoration shaman against this type of cleave. And they drop Darkness, they drop Astral Shift, they drop their Trinket. They have to kite. They need Cyclones on the Ret. He has to cross map and get away with stuns and clones. If he's not able to get away, he's just gonna get melted by the Ret Warrior. He's gonna get cut down, mowed out. Feels Resto Shaman.
Oh, that was Resto Shamans everywhere. Can relate to that one. Delirium, we're going to see the replay start of the game, I am sure. They just mount up, straight line to the Shaman, 10 seconds, get basically every single defensive cooldown, cut through the Fleshcraft, cut through the wall, and I mean, that's a nightmare. That's a really difficult matchup for anything as possible. Laser, getting the Cyclones reflected so he can't even peel. We really need to see a little bit more help, though, for Archeon, because I don't really know. And they need Darkness instantly. So the only way you live versus Cleaves, in my experience, is you have to Darkness at 100% health. You see them there? The first global is Darkness. He's got to soak up that initial pressure because this is just unrelenting. As soon as the Darkness falls, Battle Master is going to fall. He gets geared up. Nobody can help him. He gets blocked. Still has the Ascendance and Link, but I mean, I don't think he's going to live there pretty much no matter what.
I think they started the game badly. How are they double feared? The Boomkin and Demon Hunter should never be feared together. I think Laser didn't start in stealth, if the replay even caught that at the start. So they just all instantly CC'd at the start of the game. I think one was chastised, one was stunned. Laser has to start in stealth. Like, the main goal of the game should be like a solar beam on the priest from stealth, into an in-cap clone on the Night Fae blink, and then the Ret Paladin and Warrior are stunned as soon as possible. Like, if that doesn't happen, like, the Shaman is just gonna immediately flop. But yeah, I think starting from stealth, even just an in-cap on the DPS, if the Demon Hunter gets CC'd, it's because they can't get to the Shaman clean like that. It's basically game over if they get to the Shaman with no interception whatsoever. So I want to see Laser start in stealth, and everything is just about getting the Shaman. It's like protect the payload, and the Shaman is your payload. Like, you gotta in-cap, Typhoon them, sprint your Shaman, get him across the map, drop Darkness as soon as they reconnect, root them, get to the other side of the map, stun them. Like, they have to get the Shaman away from the Ret Warrior, and they can't do that if they're instantly CC'd at the start of the game. So Laser definitely needs to start in stealth. Maybe even it can be so tough now. I've stopped playing Root Beam just because everyone's a Night Fae and they just blink out of it all the time, or the Ret Pally is going to Sanctuary it. It's like just playing Bash for an extra peel. So maybe start the game with in-cap on DPS and do a Bash if the Demon Hunter is CC'd. But they have to get control of the wings. They basically just didn't have any control. There's no chance if they don't get CC out almost immediately.
You can see like imprisonment too from Athena, like just more crowd control. You just have to break up the Ret and the Warrior's damage. Don't let them connect. Like you said, the opener definitely wasn't the greatest. And I don't think anything's possible. In this case, I don't think anything's possible. We're just going to see one competition. I think it's going to be the Demon Hunter Moonkin Shaman. So they're going for it all in. They're down 0-1 right now. They're having a great start, very aggressive push, and that's exactly what you want to see. So anything possible, more crowd control from Laser. Don't get double feared. Athena maybe play the big imprisonment, so that's not going to get dispelled. Early Darkness. These are all things we really want to see. Otherwise, Sieve is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they got to stop them from actually reaching the Shaman. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Just stop them while they're crossing the map. You can't stop, like, Laser, he doesn't have any time to actually get those clones out when they're already on the Shaman. That's when you really get uptime. if you fake the reflect or if you hard cast into it, it's essentially the same thing. Because own last game was DR'd on laser, and at the same time, he fakes and he doesn't use it. It's like it's too much time. Just you want to stop them before they get the healer. And if you do it when they're crossing, and you get those buttons out of the way, as soon as they do connect, and you don't have to reflex, you don't have to worry about any instant fire control stop. You just the shaman. With that said, playing a shaman in this matchup doesn't seem to be that fun.
It's one of the hardest
And,
things. I played so many games like this last season, trying to push for rank 1, and every Ret Warrior does the same thing. You know exactly what they're doing, and you have to, you just go into this giant gauntlet of being scared the entire game. So it is a really rough matchup, but I think it's winnable. But you need to have proper CC during the cooldowns. Like Squarlet and Queen here just got to do whatever they wanted. It was like the best game ever for them. So I really want to see Laser and Stealth this game, and maybe Athena run in right away. Just maybe get a disengaged snare on them. Just try and prevent them from getting the Shaman. No, they're getting right to the Shaman. This is where I want to see an in-cap. Laser's in a stun already from Stealth. He's not going to be able to get CC in this position. He's trying to heal through it with regrowth, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. He's going for Cyclones now. Gets one, but I think the War Banner clipped it, so Squarlet's not going to get Cyclone for too long. Now he's into a full Hammer of Justice. They're reverse magic. Really need to see a reverse magic, but Athena gets feared up. He's pinned down by the Spear Bastion. This could be it for him if he's not careful. He's used so much at this point. They've dropped Darkness now as well. Laser is just endlessly getting crowd controlled. Not able to get out the support here. They're trying to counter pressure Wings, but you cannot counter pressure Wings. You have to control it. They're not controlling him whatsoever. Now with Cyclone coming through, Feasible will get a couple seconds to freeze, but he's not getting any distance against the rest of the Cyclone. He's going to be really dangerous here. He's got Link as his last line of defense. Nice double stun from Athena. Finally seeing some counter pressure here. There's the double lock though on CVAB. Reverse magic comes through from Athena. CVAB trying to get away. Another Wings proc here. Massive damage. They sprint CVAB. They Typhoon. Good coordination, but CVAB just gets rooted up. Needs to get away. He needs them off of him for a substantial amount of time. Another clone comes through onto the Ret Paladin. He's going to bubble it offensively. That's BM when the Ret Paladin is bubbling your Cyclones. Just acknowledging that there's no counter pressure. Can they punish the BM here? They still have a Trinket Link. They still have one more lifeline. They can punish the bubble right now. Scarlet getting blasted down. Warrior a little bit reluctant to chase him behind the pillar. Finally, CVAB is getting away. Scarlet's getting punished with the BM bubble. CVAB continues to line of sight.
Well, looks like they are just going to be retreating behind the pillar, just trying to survive, trying to stabilize. It's not a bad play. It could be really difficult. I mean, right now, Athena, no Trinket. So if he gets caught into a stun and they get a stun on CVAB, it's also going to be a really scary situation because Demon Hunter is vulnerable. He's got the floor, but he's really low right now. Triple stun comes in. Can't see any crack control from Laser. Double fear coming in from Queen. Let's see if they can here. They have to cross the map. And this is what you want. You are the Shaman, but a full Hammer of Justice does land. Is he going to Trinket out? But he cannot get the damage out. Here's the Wings. Massive damage. Toss up with the real straight up. The Astral Shift to stay alive. Fleshcraft, as well as the War Master, just walk out of that Spear of Bastion. Yeah, does manage to survive, and the kiting and shields this game from anything possible are a lot better.
Yeah, but finally, you can get some pressure now onto Squarlet. He uses his Trinket there. The Wings though. CVAB needs to be very careful here. Taking a lot of damage here. This could be the Spirit Link Totem getting traded out. He's trying to hold it, and Laser is spamming out the Cyclones. He gets one of the Priest. They need a stun on the DPS here. CVAB gets stunned outside of his Earthen Wall, where he gets reversed magic off. Trinket comes out. There's a Spirit Link. No, he does not get the Spirit Link off there in time, and just unrelenting pressure coming out here from Delirium. Once again with that Ret Warrior, even the biggest map, and again it was kind of the same thing here for anything possible. They just had a really bad opener. Laser started the game in Stormbolt. They both got to connect basically for free on top of the Shaman, and you just got to get a lot of those immediately getting forced out, and that first Wings really got a lot of value, and yeah, didn't seem like they had that much counter pressure either. Even with the BM bubble or just like bubbling offensive, they still weren't able to get that much actually used. And I wonder what happened to CVAB's Hex right there, because they don't have a Hex now, and it looked like he was going for a Hex on the Priest there, but I'm not sure why it didn't land. Maybe he was just going for a fake cast, but here was a nice play. Astral Shift, Fleshcraft, use the Spirit Walker's Grace. A lot of cooldowns getting traded out, and they get a Cyclone onto Squarlet, gets Master Spelled out, and then as soon as those cooldowns fade, they're just immediately on target again. And this is the moment in the game where they need pressure on the Squarlet. They stun him, they get a Cyclone on the Priest, and then the Squarlet just has his Trinket back up, the Trinkets offensively, and now once again everything's on DR. I think does Laser have Bash here? I can actually see the cooldown of it, but I think a Bash onto Squarlet here would have been the play, but I guess it's DR from that reverse magic, and yeah, it's a tough situation because it wasn't DR, I guess, as well from the Fell Eruption, so there's not really too much that they could have done there. Cyclone is on DR, Hunt is on DR, and Wings are active. What are you going to do about it? Shaman doesn't have any cooldowns. The only thing he could have done is trade out the Spirit Link. Maybe it would have been enough to buy time for that stun DR to come back up, but I think, yeah, just a tough situation to be in general. After such a rough start, just fall behind too much, and it's just really hard to kind of come back in a game like that.
I really want Laser to peel from stealth. Like he keeps coming out of stealth, like trying to max range it or something. But even just a double in-cap roar, bash the warrior, like literally just, and then in-cap the ret when he pops wings, trinkets, spam clone on him. Like don't think about doing damage at the start of the game. Don't even really think about CCing the priest at the start of the game. Just get the warrior off the shaman, get the ret off the shaman, everything, all hands on deck, CC those two. As soon as they are CC, you get wings, stun the healer and try to X the healer if the shaman gets away. If they're not able to peel that open, like it's the scariest point in the game. That's when the damage is always going to be at its highest, and it has to just immediately be crowd controlled, and it's just not happening right now. Maybe we could see Laser Trinket also in the opener. I feel like the Boomkins Trinket isn't as valuable as other players, so just trinketing the Stormbolt and peeling for the team would be a decent option for him on the roster, but if they keep playing like this, that warrior aren't getting controlled and the banner hits a clone, they're going to have to use everything way too early. And at the end, CVAP had a really tough choice. He was like, do I kite now? Because the Earthen Wall was ending. As soon as he started kiting, his teammates got feared away. So if he trinket links, nobody's next to him. If he had actually just stayed still and trinket linked, probably would have lived that go and been able to keep going. But reverse sweeping this, winning on Maldraxxus, then reverse sweeping on the small maps is going to be very challenging for them overall from this position. I just want to see more commitment. It's like Laser Trinket opener. Later on, Athena Trinket reverses a Hodge. Later on, Shaman Trinket links. Like, rotate the trinkets on all the big wings hits. And just commit a cooldown. Say this person's going to save. And have a committed rotation so you know every time that the go is happening from the Ret Warrior that someone's going to be there.
I was just looking at the qualification math, and I'm pretty sure this is qualification on the line right now for Delirium. I think if they win this game, they qualify for the circuit. So for them, unless they get if they get reverse swept, I think they won't make it. But if they do win here, then they're guaranteed making it into that top 8. So big game for them, and for anything possible for them to actually qualify for the circuit, they would need a 3rd place finish. Straight up. So their road, they need to reverse sweep here, and they need to win their next series, and then they need to win 1 series on Sunday. If they can do that, then they can make it through circuit as well. It's a it's a long road for them.
Step at a time.
Especially one map at a time. But for Delirium, this is really exciting because we haven't seen them have that many top 8 finishes. So I think this is their 2nd cup appearance, and just 1 game away from pulling it off.
Yeah,
let's see if they can.
Now we're gonna definitely have to wait and see. Let's see what they can do. We need to see really good trinkets from them and great peels in the opener. Otherwise, CVAB is going to be in trouble. You can see he's already positioned across the entire map. It's a much better start, but ultimately a Hammer of Justice will land, will get reversed. So they trade out the reverse magic. Let's see how CVAB is going to be able to survive here. Look for some heals, but if he gets pummeled, it's going to be a nightmare. Let's go for a big heal there, popping himself off, and the pressure this game is already significantly less, but they do trade out some of those cooldowns very early on in order to kind of stay ahead of the damage, and this large map really paying in favor for anything as possible. See right now, Delirium is already forced behind the pillar. This is the big offensive push. Dina getting really low, gets caught to a stun. Does he have the trinket? He's actually going to trade out the trinket as well as the Nether Walk. There's no blur available, and big punish there on the Demon Hunter for getting that aggressive.
Yeah, and he's still not feeling safe here. He's trying to push in and get aggressive, but he's just...
What?
His HP is just never moving. He full fear onto CBAP. He might just die, and he's just dead. That was an insane amount of damage coming in from Delirium. And Delirium, congratulations. They will be qualifying to the circuit off of the back of that
Demon Hunter player, you just saw that and you want to cry. Like, he drops the Darkness on the done. Gets bad luck, honestly, just gets unlucky. He's got a different outcome of the Darkness rolls. He could have easily survived there, but Delirium, they are going to punish Athena, deploying that aggressive. But as a Demon Hunter, what really can you do? You can't just, like, can't really sit back. I don't even want to say, like, Athena really messed up here. So they had good peels in the opener. You see the imprisonment onto Queen right away. So yeah, just stays ahead of the damage, which I actually like. Trades out the Astral Shift very early on, and it ends up not even being really a target in this match, crossing the map on the open field. And Delirium was feeling so unconfident that they decided to just pull back and say, okay, well, they rotated through their cooldowns. We're just going to pull back behind the pillar. This is the big offensive push here from the Demon Hunter and the Moonkin, but Athena gets in a little bit too aggressive. I believe it is a Storm Bolt that lands, and unfortunately for Athena, has to trade up the Trinket as well as another walk. And now with no blur, once again going behind the pillar. Here's the pre-darkness, I do believe. So the pre-darkness right now, but just gets absolutely crushed through it. And unfortunately, so yeah, even though traded up the Trinket, gets Pandaren racials from Lanet. And that's just going to be a win for Delirium, 3-0. Really, really quite unbelievable how fast those games were.
Well, Sid, you got it. You got your dream here, bro. You got to see the Boomkin, and it was locked in after the tank, the tank
or before Guardian.
Yeah, before Guardian came in, before the Thugbear came in and blessed the broadcast with that 80-minute game. We did see Boomkin.
Who
does that feel?
Who did they beat to get into the top 8? It must not have been any Cleaves, because that like there's no way, dude. Like what? None of those games were looking like they were going to be able to pull it off in terms of offense, let alone defense. So we didn't see the casual dads in here. What it makes me curious is if Boomkin DH is actually a decent option into other comps. Like if they had beaten casual dads or something, or beat a Destrolock team.
It's possible.
Rather than
I feel like that's what it excels at, right?
That's what I was expecting it to excel at. This is a really hard matchup to get in your first game, Ret Warrior. So unfortunate for them. They will be out of the contest. Delirium, they're excited. They get to qualify into the tournament. They're going to eliminate Spawn of Damage. They're not going to be making it into the circuit play now. And now we're moving up to the upper bracket where we've got like those big names. Who's going to come out on top this week? Is Kungana going to continue their momentum here? Are they going to remain undefeated from this point? Will SK Pieces have a rematch? Is LF Org going to be able to have a good run? I feel like LF Org is really go the distance since Cup 1. So I want to see what they're bringing to the table now in Cup 4, what they're preparing for the circuit. That seems to be the next preparation, is like, what comps are they going to commit to in the time prior to the round robin? Because everyone will have to play against everyone, and you'll need an answer to all of those different threats. Are we going to see maybe they're going to be a bit more experimental with the rest of this cup now that we've locked in the top 8? Try some new comps and try some new strategies. That's kind of what's got me most interested right now.
All right, well, we are going to see them advance. And No Money Just Funny winning their first elimination game of the day. Delirium advancing as well. Now we will be moving to the upper bracket in a rematch between My Way and Kungana. This is a really interesting series. This is actually the finals last week. A really, really interesting series to see how it kind of evolved. Kungana, I feel like they started off against My Way really, really strong, but My Way kept making it really interesting by finding these wins, barely surviving the setups, and eventually getting enough burst damage. Kungana eventually kind of found their footing in the match, so it looked a little bit more like convincing. Basically, I think the way we analyzed it was when My Way won, it felt like it was like the stars aligned kind of thing, and when Kungana won, it seemed really, really convincing on their part.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. It felt like My Way definitely had to work a little bit more for their wins, but it was very, very nice finals last week. And if you look at last week as well, between these two teams, we had Kungana 4-0 or 3-0 My Way in this exact bracket, and then later on, My Way fought their way through the lower bracket and then met them again in the grand finals, and that's when things became really close, and it wasn't just a total stomp anymore. It was, I believe, a 4-3 in the end in the finals. So pretty sure we went all the way to game 7 in that one. So now, with My Way having even more time to practice, they're number 2 on standings. They are the team that finished first last year. This is the battle of the titans right now. I would say these two are the two strongest teams right now, and maybe My Way has figured out something a little bit extra to work into the series.
Yep, started off today with 2 elimination series. We will be going to the upper bracket against these 2 Titan teams, Kungana versus My Way, when we return from a quick break.
You're interrupting my research. The glories of the first one. I greet you in kind. It is a particularly beautiful day. Go on, man.
Just got a safari hat.
We are going straight into the game. We're in the upper semifinals. It's Kungana, the #1 seeded team, versus MyWay.
All right, let's see what we got here. We got, once again, Sub Rogue coming in from Waz, Fire Mage from Raikou, and Meh on that Holy Priest. And what spec are we seeing today from Mr. Kasu? It's going to be the MM Hunter. They were swapping between, MM and BM quite a bit last week. But ultimately, MM did look a little bit better, so I'm interested to see how this one is going to play out. Of course, this is in the upper bracket, so nobody's going home if they lose here. But still, the #1 seed in Kungana and the #2 seed in MyWay. We go head-to-head, Nagrand Arena, and the gates are open. So please.
Yeah, these are grand finalist quality teams here. Going head-to-head, is MyWay going to be able to have the rematch here and pull off a win? They're playing marksmanship straight off the bat. Last time they maybe wasted a few games testing out different specs with survival and beast mastery, not able to find wins with it. But that marksmanship Necrolord got so much burst damage, clutched out 3 games, some miracle games last week. Definitely worth checking out that Kasu is looking to pull off once again here in the final week. Will he be able to? Immediate crowd control starting things off here. Double fear. Kasu is isolated, blasted down, and that's it. Oh my goodness, that opener was dirty.
Okay, well, explosive start here from Kungana. Let's see if they can continue that momentum forward. I mean, we're going to once again see the entire
That's fucking
replay,
stupid.
for this one. It's just so interesting. I mean, these 2 teams, when they do a battle, you can have a game that ends like this, which is basically,
That's so fucking
react.
stupid.
One team has a really, really crazy opener, and the game can just end instantly, or you can see this really complicated, intricate cooldown trade. Games can last, 5, 6, 7 minutes, going to dampening. But if you mess up even for a second against Kungana, you will get dropped really quick.
All right, so we're going to rewatch the entire game. Raiku's still in stealth right now. So what do they do here? They get a cheap shot onto Kasu, cheap shot onto Relza, into double fear onto Relza and Tony, Bombast, dead. We're going to need to watch it one more time. All right, so everyone is in stealth. Raikou comes out. He pokes the Fleshcraft, actually, from Kasu, so he won't have that. And then what is Waz doing here? He starts with a cheap shot onto Relza, into a shadow step over onto Kasu, into a cheap shot.
Double fear.
And gets the double fear. Raikou is roared, comes out of the roar. Mind games, connects, and one Pyroblast.
I've died.
Raikou did 1 Pyroblast.
I'm going to be honest. I've died so many times like this to RMP, where it's like, the first stun lands, you're 80% health in the first stun, and then they just blow everything and kill you in half a second. Like, it's...
Yeah.
So he gets pre-chastised, Matt comes in with double fear, and then from 50-0 instantly. Like, he's 50% health, second stun goes out, he's looking like he's going to be okay, he's got Relentless, and then gone. And it's gone.
Yeah, but look at mass damage here. Like, Raiku's going to have top damage.